Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I am your host, Edward Anderson. I want to have a conversation. It's uncomfortable. And so before we even get started, y'all see the title. Let me play the video.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
3 things that I'd never do after working in an HIV clinic. Number 1, trust a man 100%. I've just seen too many women come into the clinic with their boyfriend waiting for them in the car, and they come in to get a positive diagnosis of HIV or gonorrhea or chlamydia. A lot of women trust the men that they're with enough to not use condoms, not to come in and get tested regularly or until they feel symptoms, and I've just seen it happen too many times. So now I'm like super biased against trusting men 100%, because a lot of men come in and get tested and they are positive for different STIs and STDs. Pass up an opportunity to get tested. Like, always get tested, even though I've been like celibate. These things can lay dormant in your body for weeks, months. If and you are so in love and this is the one, I'm gonna marry this guy, just because you feel like that doesn't mean that you shouldn't go get tested for STIs. Your sexual health is your own responsibility, and at the end of the day, you can't blame anyone else for what your actions have caused. I know, sounds victim blamey, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to get tested regularly. It's up to you to ask questions to who you're having sex with. It's up to you to make them use a condom. It's all up to you. So those are the 3 things I would never do after working in an HIV clinic. My name is Tia.
All right, so y'all saw the video. Y'all know what time it is. That's some crazy work right there, like for real. I got this video from Anton, so shout out to him. I know there's people in this space don't like him. They got legit reasons, but whatever. Information is information. So I'll link his original video in the description if you want to get his take on it. I definitely don't agree on a lot of his kind of anti, white supremacy don't exist takes, but as far as a lot of other stuff, he's done a good job learning and putting out a lot of good some good information. That being said, you saw the video, and nice looking woman. I gotta say this. First things first about this video that I really didn't like is this idea of blaming men. The men you have, this is true for men and the women they have around them, and this is true for the women and the men that you have around you. The men you choose to sleep with is a reflection of you. You are not a victim to the men you choose to deal with. But let's cut that BS. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I really don't care how old you are. I really don't care. I don't care if you're in high school. I don't care. And obviously we're talking about if you're dealing with age appropriate people. But I don't care. There's too much information, too much knowledge. Social media is out here. You all are inundated with information, especially when it comes to black men. Black men not being worth nothing is always on the thing. So when black women choose to deal with black men anyway, at all, you cannot say you're doing this from a naive place. You cannot say that. I don't care how old you are. Females are taught at a very young age that black men are not to be trusted, black boys are not to be trusted. They are raised in environments that actually cultivate that mindset. So I want to get this clear. So when she's sitting there saying, I don't trust men 100%, you shouldn't trust nobody 100%. You shouldn't trust your wife 100%, not 100%. It's like English papers. There are no perfect papers. But humans are humans. And to have humans is to be humans to make mistakes. So that's her trying to kind of have it out, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you know the type of people you're dealing with. And the real issue, here's the real issue. The real issue is black women in particular operate on two kind of dichotomies. One is they either don't want to deal with a dude at all because they're not sexually attracted at all, or they're hyper-sexually attracted. That's a problem. Because if for the dude you're sexually attracted to, you put yourself in very vulnerable spots. I don't care who you pick. This is not about telling you who to pick. This is about you being accountable to the outcomes that you got to deal with in your life because of the people that you choose to have around you. It's not black men's fault that you like dealing with dudes that ain't worth nothing. It's not. Perfect example. I don't have a problem with NBA Youngboy. I don't really have a personal problem with NBA Youngboy. The reason why I bring up NBA Youngboy a lot is because NBA Youngboy is a perfect example of a black man that can do anything and everything. He comes from a certain background. He comes like, it's all his brothers in jail. He comes from a real, like, basically, if there's a patron saint for YNs, and I don't even mean that in a negative way necessarily, he would be it. And NBA Youngboy is a perfect example. NBA Youngboy has at least one STD. These women do not care. I'm gonna be very clear here. I don't care what NBA Youngboy does outside of actually killing somebody or killing a female. I don't care what he does. You know who he is, very overt about who he is and what he's about, and you choose to deal with him. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear it. Even to the point of Yaya Mayweather, who's got crazy, is connected to Floyd Mayweather's daughter, right? And still, it doesn't matter. And that's a good hyper example of this. You are choosing who you are choosing. Just like if a man was dealing with strippers and dealing with Cardi B types, you know what you're doing. You are choosing who you're choosing. But I'm not saying you knew he necessarily had an STD. But the reality is, this thing about trusting men, you all do not have self-control. It's not really so much about the man, it's about your own common sense. A lot of y'all are way too old to be acting like that. Like, for real. She literally said that the man is in the car while she goes and see if she needs to get tested. That's crazy. That's what I mean about, people are devolving the race. That's crazy. And people are trying to normalize this. I'm going to tell you right now, and if you have an STD, I don't want to hear nothing out your mouth. You have no right to speak about anything when it comes to sex, when it comes to outside of STDs and how not to get them. I don't want to hear what you think about relationships. That is like a automatic, you don't get to speak in the conversation if that gets found out. Like, straight up. Because the thing that's why I wanted to do this video too, that really kind of made me mad, is what she kept saying about, she mentioned something about condoms. And here's the truth. The truth is, black women don't like wearing condoms. If we're not going to have that conversation, this conversation don't need to be had. Black women are not having sex with men raw because they just like the dude and trust the dude, and the dude is taking advantage of this trust. Black women have an anti-condom culture. Black women don't like birth control. The ones that do the ones that do it responsibly are exceptions to the rule. They are not, and congratulations, you're responsible. They are not the rule. It is a well-known thing in the black community. You will have black women get mad at black men, and this has actually happened to me. Actually. And tell me how many times I dealt with her after that. They will actually get mad at you and accuse you of cheating if you wear a condom. Black women will actually try to coerce you into not having wearing a condom. Especially if they like you. The dudes that get buns, like for real, tell me I'm lying. You deal with black women, tell me I'm lying. Black women do, the statistics prove this too. Black men wear way more we have the most widest gap between childless men and women with kids of any other race. Black women do not like condoms. Black women as a group do not like birth control. I'm talking about FBA women in particular. And so this thing about, well, you know, these dudes are worthless. And those are the dudes that you choose. I heard one woman say that women are attractive to narcissistic traits. They absolutely are, which is why they always call men narcissists. Because they're actually attracted to those types of traits. That's what women don't never say. In my opinion, you ain't got no right calling a man narcissist. And there are some, if you attracted to those types of traits, because you're attracted in the hyper version of these traits. This is why in the black community, we like to talk about dudes with super duper confidence. This is not a one-to-one thing necessarily, but dudes that have like super duper confidence, especially if it's not really built on no real foundation. Yeah. A lot of times you may run into, you're going to have a higher probability of running into a guy that has narcissistic tendencies. And y'all love that. Y'all love it. And so I just don't like the victimhood. If you understand, y'all know who y'all be dealing with. Black men are not doing this to you as a group. Y'all like that T-app, man, thank God for that T-app. That T-app absolutely proved. Remember the T-app? 3-4 weeks ago, a month ago? Everybody forgot about it now. The women coming in talking about, we about to go and do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. And we're going to put y'all, expose y'all. Yeah, that worked. That worked for a long time, didn't it? The women are literally using the T-app as a way of finding dudes to get a lot of the chicks. You all are dealing with certain dudes. This isn't a black man problem. This is a problem with you all not having control on where you put your vagina. I call it VPS, vaginal positioning system. And you all tend to be attracted to all of the bad stuff. And that is what it is. Why are you doing this? I'm doing this video because a lot of these dudes be feeling guilty on stuff that really ain't got nothing to do with them. I just did a video on cultural compatibility. I will link that in the description. And this is what I'm talking about. This kind of, reckless sex culture, this porno, like, people can call me a square all you want to. The stuff that y'all be doing is, y'all are doing the most, man. Y'all are doing the absolute most. Like, it's real hard R activity that y'all are doing. And I'm going to say it just like that. And I'm not somebody that's like, no, real square necessarily when it comes to sex. But God, man, the stuff y'all be doing, I don't want to hear nothing out y'all mouth. I don't want to hear nothing out y'all mouth. Like, for real, for real. And quiet as it's kept, a lot of these chicks are getting these, STDs from non-black men too. Because if you're a white dude, if you're a white dude, what would you rather do? What would you rather do? Would you rather dirty up your own community or dirty up another community. What would you rather do? And a lot of these groups, they use black women for that. That's something. Jason Pope, anybody? So keep that in mind. But ultimately, man, like real talk, y'all are doing the most. Y'all are doing the most. It is absolutely insane. When you really look deep into what's going on, like you really dive into these numbers and stuff, it is absolutely insane. And people are talking about, oh man, it's all these men. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's the thing a lot of people see. Y'all see, people want to have these narratives depending on what's convenient in the moment. Most black men, like the thing about it is, even if most black men are sexually active, they're not sexually active to the level that women are. Like a 1-to-1 ratio, women are way, especially today, women are way more sexually. Average woman, you gotta remember, ugly women can get dudes. People always forget about that. Ugly women can get dudes. So the average female is way more sexually active than the average man. And then here's the thing. People like to play this game about quote-unquote celibacy and all of that. A lot of these chicks be lying about that. They'll say they celibate, but they deal with men. I mean, they deal with women. They're dealing with women talking about their celibate. So a lot of these people have these little games that they play with themselves in order to in their mind, get them out of certain situations or get them out of certain rules. And it's funny because you'll have people say you're wrong for wanting to know a woman's sexual history. I'm going to leave y'all with this. This is what we need to normalize. If you a dude and you know you on point with your stuff, this is a good test. Good test. This is a good test. And I'm leaving this for you all that got to the end of the video. Shout out to the folks who support me. I know it's a little bit of a long one. You ready? Don't ask her what her body count is. If you are in a situation where you're around a woman and you want to know what her count is, I'm not saying this always works, but this always works because some people are responsible even though they're really sexual active. Ask her, has she been, is she tested? Ask them, do you get tested? And I'm not saying just out of nowhere ask this question. Like, wherever a situation is where you ask a chick a body count, if you want to date, which if you're on a date, I don't know why. If she's making you take her out on a date, she don't like you like that. Just know that. I don't care how much money she got. If she making you take you out on a date, she don't like you like that. I don't care if she's more responsible. But ask her, has she gotten tested? And if their body language alters, if they feel like they're being attacked, if they get mad, there's your answer. There's your answer. Right there. And I'm not saying to just bust that out of nowhere. Say that where that would make sense. Say that where that would make sense. Like it would make sense for you to say, ask her what her body count is. That's what we need to normalize. Normalize asking that because a woman's sexual history definitely matters. And it definitely matters because all this crazy stuff that a lot of these people be having. And you got people that try to minimize it. You got people that try to act like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Because once you fall into that, you can't come out.